Hello and welcome back everybody to VDRL Season 3 Tier 2 Round 3. We're gonna be here at Silverstone Circuit. Let's see the calendar. The third round, 12th of April. Exciting rounds before this in China with DMAG winning for his first win in VDRL and also Meshu leading the championship right now. So let's head on to the lineup and see which of those drivers from the lineup are driving today. So we have Mayan driving today. We have Meshu not driving today due to being in France. Boost driving today. He's the predicted race winner so far. We have Fetcher. We have Justin Maguire, Sir Norris, Dom, uh, Berlanas, Fake Lando Norris, DMAG, and a lot of reserves today driving. So we'll have to see. A lot of rookies. Haven't seen them drive yet. We're gonna have to see how they do. So let's head on and see the start of qualifying. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I am back. Sorry for that slight interruption. Now, as we see, a lot of drivers heading out onto the circuit. Let's change these settings really quick. And here we see the Alpine driver, the first out on track. It's a wet session here in Silverstone today. Gonna be hard for the rookies, to say the least. A lot of drivers today, 16 people. This circuit of 5.891 kilometers, 3.661 miles long, 18 corners. Very interesting circuit. A lot of good overtaking opportunities. Not that hard to overtake here. So qualifying shouldn't matter too much, but you still want to get that pole. You still want to start in a good position. You never want to be at the back. So full wet conditions. So far everyone's on the full wets. We'll have to see how they do with those tires. Now as we see a yellow flag and an Aston Martin retiring. Don't know what's up with that. Okay, anyways, let's go on board with the Haas first out on his first lap, going through first, second, into the third corner, braking late, hitting his apex, down to second gear, turning in, slightly missing the apex, but that's still really good. Using non-ERS, I don't know what's the strategy there, sliding a bit, but let's see where he can put his Haas. Using ERS, going down the gears into third, big snap there, had to correct there, lost some time there, down to second gear, Now back on the throttle as fast as you can. Up the gears we go. Using the ERS down to Cops, the infamous 2021 corner. Slight, very slippery as I can see in these conditions. Let's see, will he take these flat? First one flat, second one lift. Okay. Conditions are very tricky from what I can see at the moment. Everyone is on a lap except the Haas driver and the Ferrari driver, who still haven't started or are still in the pits waiting to see maybe the conditions will get better later, and they don't want to use the tires at the moment. I don't know what the weather will be in the race. The drivers should have a better idea than me, but let's see where this Haas can put his car. What will be the lap time? Going through the final corner, it will be a 140.8. Alpine comes across 142.2. Everyone's gonna be finishing their laps now. Let's see. V-Carb going to 144.7. Berlanas in the Alpine going to 141.8. D-Mag, the last race winner, only a 42.7. Not the best lap from him, but he can still make a dent. Come back, get a better lap later. A lot of versatility around the laps, going all the way from a 140 to a 147, which Boost, who said the 147, is actually one of the favorites to win this race, so maybe he's struggling a bit more than people expected, but we'll have to see about that later in qualifying. Of course, this pit lane is very long. I don't know what that has to do with why I said that, but hey man, Lipo still in the P1, the first person to finish his lap and the first person on the time charts, so maybe the track was better at the start. We don't know yet. But we'll have to see, because it looks like everyone who finished their lap after him got slower and slower. So maybe the track is getting worse. But it kind of looks like a dry line is forming. So we'll have to see. Now as the Ferrari, let's go on board with him. He's on the out lap, the latest one to go out for a lap. Let's see, where is he? Okay. So, he's starting his lap. The last one to start his lap. Where will that be? Will it help him? Is the track better than it was before? Slippy slidey down to turn 1. Looks not that good at the moment. Going down the gears. Oof. Not the best of starts to the lap, but it does look like the session is drier at the... he's just struggling to find the grip on the rear. As Boost goes to P1, provisional pole, he is the predicted race winner. Not that surprising. Maybe he was going for a bit of a warm 2 out laps to warm his tires more. That's why it said the 147. Good lap by him. On pole at the moment by 0.3 of a second. Very good, but now let's see the Ferrari going up the gears, down into Cops. Full lift by him. Interesting choice. But let's see where this will put. Okay. Has a lot of ERS left to use in this big long straight. The longest straight at this track is here. Not that good of a lap by him at the moment. Just struggling to find the rear grip, sliding around. But let's see where this will put him. Down the penultimate corner now. Going a bit of slipstream maybe. Final corner. Where does this put him? 142.3 up into P7. So solid effort by him. We'll have to see. I think the track is getting definitely better. As we can see, D-Mag in the side has bolted on some new inters. So we'll have to see how that will work out. Is everyone going to try inters, or will they stay safe, be on the wet tires of compound? We'll have to see. Let's head on board with the man in P6 going on an outlap right now. Grant Pallet. Let's see. On his outlap, just warming his tires. Let's see what he can do. Okay. So, let's see. Starting his lap now, penultimate corner. We're going to get the traction right out of here, especially in the full wet conditions at the moment. Okay, so going over the line. Looks a lot drier than it has been before. Very good turn 1 by the looks of it. Let's see what he can do in turn 3. Down the gears, down to 3rd gear. Misses the apex just a tiny bit, but ooh, big slide. Might have lost him a bit of time, but it looks like the track is getting drier every second. It might just go down to who finishes the lap last, who can go out for this final lap, the last to be on track, but also you gotta make sure that you don't go out too late and don't make a lap. So Grand Palette, we see 7/10 up at the moment. That very good improvement so far. Oh, a bit of loss of the rear end. As we can see at the side, D-Mag, Boost, both on outlaps now, both on inters, the only one to choose now, and they are also the people who got predicted to be 1 and 2. So we have to see how that works for them. After this, we'll head on board with D-Mac on his enters lap and see how good is he doing. Let's see, going down the long straight. Low ERS at the moment. What can he do? Fast left-hander. Ooh, bit wide. My bad, fast right-hander. Okay. Going down the gears, penultimate corner. Up to the line, where does he go? 140.6 up into P2. Good lap from him. Now let's head on board with D-Mag and see what he's doing with the intermediate. 1 second up in this first sector. Very good by him. This lap could make him go P1. This track just seems to be getting better and better every single lap. Every single person drives there. Let's see. The big long straights. Using his ERS. Okay. Okay, penultimate corner. Can he get the traction right? Yes, he does, using all his ERS. Up to the line, 139, the first person to bring it into the 139s. Going to P1, let's see Boost, the P2 man. 7/10 up on his lap. That would make him go on pole already, and that's only the first sector. What can he do in the second? Going down to Maggots and Beckett's. Person ahead of him, maybe even gonna give him slipstream. Slippy slidey for everyone right now. Going on, slipstream is in hand for him. ERS in hand. This should be a very good lap. 1.4 seconds up. That would be, oh, maybe a bit of impeding, but that should be alright. 1.4 seconds up. That would be a 1:39.0. Very good lap so far. Can he make it through? Can he set it up? The final corners of the track. Penultimate corner. Gotta keep it neat and tight. Get on the throttle. Where does he go with this lap? 1:38.5. That's a very good effort by him. On pole, provisional pole at the moment by 1.3 seconds if I'm not mistaken. Very good effort. Let's head on board with some of the other inter runners. It's looking like it's definitely the best tire. Let's head on board with the Haas in P4. Slippy slidey on his out lap. Maybe let's see another driver who's on a lap at the moment. Mr. Soundy just starting his lap. Very slidey turn 1. What can he do? Going down into village. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Heading down the gears. Heading down onto the long DRS straight. Well, with no... as he invalidates. Sad outcome for him, but he still has time. He can pit, go out, and get the best of tracks. So let's see what he can do later in this session. Who is on a lap? Let's see the Mercedes Enzo in P5. Is he on a lap? And yes, 1.7 seconds up. If I'm no, that looked like I think no, he's not on a lap. My bad, guys. So as Berlanas goes P2 with a 38.6. You can just see how far the track is evolving. Everyone improving by seconds every single sector. Barely of a gap between the top two at the moment. Let's see the gap. 400. Very small gap. As Mayan in P15. 7 seconds down. Maybe he's just waiting for the best track. We'll have to see later on. D-Mag, one of the favorites, 1.2 seconds off at the moment. We'll have to see what he can do in the end of the qualifying session, but not looking too good for him right now. Let's head on board. As Young Victim about to start his lap. 3 seconds off of pole at the moment. Can he make that gap smaller or maybe even take provisional pole? Let's see this. Using his ERS down into turn 1, down into turn 2. Maybe a bit of traffic here, down into village. He needs to give it his all. This is the only lap he can set. Or he has to back off and go for another lap later. But does he have enough fuel to do that? Let's see. Where will he be in the first sector? How much is he up by? 9/10 of a second. Amazing. If he keeps improving by that much every sector, he could even go on to provisional pole position. The track is just getting better massively every single lap, every single second. It's just improving. As we can see, yellow flag in sector 1. Probably just a bit of slow driving to let the driver pass. Everything good now. Sliding a bit through cops. Going on Maggots and Beckett's. Maybe gonna get some slipstream like Boost got on his lap. Would be a very ideal situation for him. Just not get impeded first. I see bit of a bad exit, but he's got the ERS. He's got a tiny toe maybe. 1.1 seconds up. That would put him about P5. So can he squeeze out some more time? Maybe get next to D-Mag in terms of time, his teammate. Where does he go? Penultimate corner here. Now on the normal penultimate corner. Can he get the traction down? Yes, he can. Tight line. Where does he go? P6. Only a little bit off of P5, so he can definitely improve that in the race. Let's see, Enzo goes to P5. Now let's go on board with Boost on his out lap. The guy in pole right now is about to start his lap. Let's see what he does. Almost everyone on laps now. So, Boost. Berlanas goes P1 with a 38.0. Great lap by him, but what can Boost do? One of the last people to start their laps. Where can he go? Can he go back to pole position for his rookie race in VDRL? Let's see. Up the gears, onto the big straight. He's maybe even gonna get some far slipstream of the Alpines ahead as his teammate goes up into P2. Good lap by Flamek as Boost is 2/10 up. That would already put him P2. Where can he go? Now up the gears again. Pedal to the metal. All of the throttle down now. New JSS disqualified from the session. Not ideal for him, but let's focus on Boost. Where can he put his car? And also, where can DMAC put his car? Let's head on board with DMAC for a second. Going on to the final course, 1.5 seconds up. That could maybe catapult him into pole position if he just nails these last 3 corners. Penultimate corner now. Can he keep a tight, nice line? Just keep it. Just, where does he go? DMAC up into P1 37.8. Let's go on board with Boost. Where's Boost? Boost on the final corners. Can he beat DMAC to pole position, or does he just not have enough? Can he keep a tight line? Where does Boost go? Boost takes P2. DMAC takes pole position. If I'm not mistaken, is Berlanas? No. I'm pretty sure DMAC just took... DMAC! The previous race winner, we're on board with him right now. Takes pole position for VDRL. Round 3 of Tier 2. Amazing performance by him. Beating the haters. Perfect lap. Just flawless. Boost barely missing out in P2 by 2/10. Fine margins here. What will happen in the race? Is it going to be wet? Is it going to be dry? Okay, let's see. DMAC in P1 by 2/10. Then Berlanas in P3 behind Boost by 3/1000ths of a second. Good effort by him. What can he do in the race? These 3 are the main contenders so far from what we can see. Ferrari having a very strong result here. Down in up in P2 and P4. Now Mercedes P5, P6. Here are all the results as the Williams gets disqualified and the Aston Martin doesn't even set a lap. Let's see what will happen in the main race. As it's dry. Okay. Okay. Dry. Pace will be very different from wet to dry. We'll have to see what happens here. And congrats to DMAC on taking pole. That's amazing result. His first pole position in this league. Very good lap. In the wet. Can he do it in the dry? Can he win this race to go back to back and maybe even lead the Drivers' Championship coming out of this race? As we're gonna start any second now. It is gonna be a formation lap, so we're gonna have to just wait around, talk about the drivers for the moment. So let's see. Yep, just chilling at the moment. Formation lap. You know, just need to not hit any other person. And warm your tires. Ferrari, amazing. P2 and P4. Mercedes, really good as well. P5 and P6. McLaren on pole. Also, young victim P9. Not the best of qualifying positions, but we do know you can overtake in Silverstone. You can go for an undercut, you can go for an overcut, and then lead back through the field. Now, let's try to see what tires everyone is on. So, DMAC, the pole position taker, on the soft compound of tires. That will be the preferred. As we can see, almost everyone except Boost, Berlanas, and Enzo is on softs. So they're going for the medium to soft, most likely. That will be meaning that they will have bad tires at the start compared to the other people, but they will have really faster tires at the end of the race if they can hold on. As Flame and Dinand touch each other, so that means they're not gonna be able to warm their tires. They're just gonna be sitting on the grid. Sad for them. But let's see. Haas in a very respectable P10 and P11. Can they get some good points from there? So at the moment, the team standings are being led by Red Bull, which has only one driver in this race, who's down in P13. Not doing the best for them this race, but let's see what they can do. Ferrari in P2 in the standings, only by 5 points behind Red Bull, are all the way up in P2 and P4. That's an amazing result for them in the qualifying for the Constructors' Championship. What can they do in the race? Now let's see. Everyone just lining up on the grid now. As it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and lights go out. D-Mac has a poor reaction compared to Boost. Can Boost go down the inside? No, D-Mac defends it. Where does Boost? Can he go for an opportunity? As I see the other Ferrari looking for a move down to Berlanas. D-Mac defends it perfectly. Boost doesn't want to try and overtake. As Boost slides. Boost goes down the inside and gets P1 on track at the moment. But I saw a big crash in the... Oh! And there's 4 cars crashed there, involved in that crash. Now let's see what's happening all the way up at the front. D-Mac just holding his ground. You know, he needs to Ferrari flame up into P3 with the soft compound of tires. Not surprised since the Alpine is on the mediums. But Ferrari on a 1-3 position at the moment. What can they do? Into cops, everyone goes. Bit of a crazy lap 1. About 4 cars crashed in the back there. Not the best for them. Let's hope they don't have wing damage. As there's a caution. Let's see what happened there. Oh, as the Williams have just spun around. Not good for him. Let's see. 1-2 for Ferrari at the moment. Very good performance from them. D-Mag dropped down a couple of positions, but it doesn't matter at this stage of the race. He just needs to stay in this leading pack in the top 3 definitely, and then it's just gonna be by the end to see who will get the checkered flag first. Let's see. Young Victim going up into P6, now dropping down to P7. Not the best of starts for D-Mag, as his teammate is trying to make up for his teammates D-Mag's mistakes and get up positions, so it won't matter. Now, as Boost gets overtaken by his teammate, as I think he recognized that his teammate is on the soft compound and let him through to let him use his tires to the biggest advantage that he can. Now let's see. I see Young Victim just got past the Alpine. Now are they gonna go side by side into cops, and the Alpine gets back past him? Very good battling here indeed. As we can see the possible race strategies: a one stop, soft to medium, or soft to hard. So I will be... Oh, as the Alpine goes off a bit wide, and now the McLaren of Young Victim gets past him, up, down the inside. Good move by him. Alpine goes really wide. I don't know what's happening here at the moment. Alpine sends it down the inside. He leaves him enough space, but oh, as there's contact! Alpine drops down all the way down to P10. Very big contact there. Not what you want to see in this type of race. Long race, a sprint. No, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So why are you battling like that? You know, let's just see what the top drivers are doing. As there's an Alpine in P5 that spun around. What has happened there? Dropping all the way from P5 to P13. Horrible start for both of the Alpines. Let's go up into the top, as there's a lot of incidents happening in the back. Leston Boy and Grant has crashed as well, I think. Top 3 just staying quiet at the moment, not fighting at all. Just staying in that gap. They have pulled away from the Mercedes in P4. Ideal for D-Mag. He doesn't want the 2 Ferraris and also a Mercedes fighting him. So As you see what he can crawl his way back as Grand Plat gets a 3-second time penalty. What is happening in the back? Is anyone fighting at the moment? Let's go to Mr. Sawney, who's gonna go try and overtake the Mercedes of Enzo round the outside. He leaves him just enough space, still side by side, going down. Mercedes goes down the inside, but Mr. Sawney seems to have outbroke the Mercedes, and yeah, Mr. Sawney secured that position there. Let's see. Lipo, will he go for the move on the Mercedes into turn 3? Or will he wait and get the DRS? No. Yeah, he's staying back. Let's see how much ERS. Yeah, he has more ERS than the Mercedes. He's gonna go for a switchback move. Amazing move there. Up into P8 even before the straight. And as we see the Ferraris battling up here side by side, D-Mag is just a perfect spectator for this. Boost gets back up into P1. Probably doesn't like the pace of his teammate at the moment. Maybe a bit struggling on tires is Flame since he is on the sauce. But D-Max seems to be just chilling back here, looking at them, not worrying too much. As big slide there from Flame. Curly gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Let's go on board with these two fighting as Lipo in P7. 3-second time penalty, crucial for him since there's a lot of drivers behind him. As we can see, they're going 3 wide at the moment. What will this end to as the Alpine roar past both of them and the Mercedes overtakes the Williams? Race calming down a bit at the moment, but the back markers just seem to be wanting to fight non-stop. As we can see, a lot of crashes this race, not the perfect start. As we can see a yellow flag, who as Barca boy spins around on the final corner as Mr. Sawney retires as well. Really chaotic start to this. I'm surprised there's not even a safety car yet, but I think another person has crashed. I don't know. Oh no, it's Mr. Sawney that DNF'd. Okay, so D-Mag losing a bit of time to the Ferraris ahead. He's just saving ERS by the looks of it because Flame has close to none ERS left. Maybe he doesn't have the pace to keep up with his teammate as he has a big slide. D-Mag should probably try and overtake Flame because he does not look to be doing. Will D-Mag with his full battery. Come on, D-Mag, use the battery. Overtake Flame. Go down the inside. Brake a bit later than him, but Flame keeps the position now. D-Mag should have used the battery there, but it's all good. Now Flame, only 20% battery. This will give the chance Boost to run away out of the DRS if they keep battling like this, or if D-Mag doesn't get on with it and move past him quickly. Can he do it into the first 3 turns? Now he stays back. Probably a smarter move to go for the DRS and then use your ERS advantage to try and overtake him. Good exit here needed. Good exit he gets. Use his ERS hopefully, but I don't. Yes, he's using his ERS a little bit. Maybe doesn't want to go for the move yet. As D-Mag gets a 3-second and less than more. So D-Mag, big shock, 3-second time penalty. That will ruin his chances of getting the win here unless Boost or Flame gets a penalty as well. Not the best for him since he is the pole sitter, but let's see what he can do later in the race as we see a Williams retire in the background there. Yeah, or an Alpine, sorry. So a lot of people having penalties right now. As D-Mag overtakes for P2, let's see this. Yep. And Boost has pulled away by 1.8 seconds. Big gap. Can D-Mag overcome that? We don't know. Let's see. Every single... almost every single person has a penalty except the Mercedes in P4, D-Mac's teammate in P5, and Boost in P1. Also, the Aston Martin losing that last by almost 20 seconds. So that won't matter for him even if he does have penalties. But D-Mac needs to push here. He doesn't. Oh, very bad exit here for D-Mac. He seems to be struggling on those tires. He's not doing the best at the moment. This Ferrari is gonna go for the move and overtake him now. Yeah, nightmare of a race so far for D-Mac. He needs to go for a very early undercut if he wants to gain back all of that time to boost. As the Ferrari in P2 also has a 3-second time penalty, so he is definitely still in contention for the P2. But Boost, he looks like he's the prime suspect for the win, which he was predicted to win, so I wouldn't be that surprised if he won. But we all love to see a D-Mac win, man, you know. But Boost, the rookie, to win on debut, very good result for him, that would be. Of course, this is the tier 2 of VDRL, so maybe Boost can someday be in tier 1, as the Ferrari peels into the pits and D-Mac will just be left on here to push on his pretty old tires at the moment, 8 lap worn out softs, which he seems to be a bit struggling on. We'll see what he can do here. It is a bit early to box, even if you're on softs for Flame, but we'll see how that will work out for him. Maybe D-Mac can go into his own rhythm now and chill. As yeah, the race seems to have been calmed down a bit at the moment. Flame heading out of the pit lane, the first to pit out of anyone, in P10 at the moment. Fresh tires now. What can he do? Let's turn on the gap to leader. It is 27 seconds, so if he will be within 25 seconds of the leader, that means he will come out in P1. So he needs to push these laps. Of course, Boost is on the other strategy, mediums to softs, so he will be going for a later stop and try to crack through the field with his pace later on, as Lipo gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Now, let's go back to Berlanas and Lipo, who I think are fighting. Yeah, just casual overtaking as it looks like. D-Mac seems to be losing a lot of time to Boost, the leader of this race. Not ideal for him. Flame not gaining that much time either to Boost, even on the first tires. Boost seems to be in a league of his own at the moment, just outpacing everyone. Definitely fastest man on track at the moment. No one really fighting right now, but let's see this. Young victim, will he go for the move to catapult himself into P3 on track, which will be a McLaren 2-3. Of course, it will be down positions later due to the undercut by the Ferrari, but he's going very cleanly, battling with this Mercedes of Dinand. Side by side through cops, I wouldn't recommend it. He backs off. Good choice. He's struggling on ERS a bit compared to Dinand, but let's see, can he go for a move? As Dinand has a big snap, so can D-Mac's teammate Young Victim go for a move? As we do know, this is his first race and he is a reserve driver, so his first chance to properly race in this league, as he goes down the inside and clears the Mercedes. But can the Mercedes go back and overtake him down the inside again? No, he stays back. I don't think he wants to fight. He just wants to, you know, chill. not lose time to the drivers behind or up front. As we know, there's an Alpine behind him who's really close, almost in DRS at this point. As Mayan gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, not ideal for him. Lipo, let's see, what will this stop be? Good stop by him, as Leston gets a speeding penalty as well. People seem to be struggling, especially the back markers on speeding. Now DMAG, almost a 6-second gap to the leader of Boost. Not the best for him, as we see the Ferrari of Flame battling with the V-Carb. As we know, the V-Carb hasn't stopped yet, so should be a pretty easy overtake by the Ferrari, who's climbing his way up the field, up the order. His gap to the leader is 30 seconds. He's lost time on those new tires. 2 seconds to be precise. Because hards, they're not the preferred strategy. If I was him, I would have boxed to mediums. So I'm not surprised that he's losing time to the leader. But let's see what tire everyone is on. So him, Lipo, and Mayan on the hard tires. Now D-Max staying out for a long time as young victim, D-Max teammate, and the Mercedes pit to change their tires. Everything seems to be calming down a bit at the moment. No one really battling on track. No one that close to each other that they could go for a move. Now we just need to see how these pit stops shake out and where everyone comes out after everyone has completed their stops. DMAG, a whopping 7 seconds behind Boost. Boost at this moment seems to have the win in the bag unless there is a late safety car which could prevent him from winning. He has actually lapped the Aston Martin in P14. So top 10 at the moment. Boost in P1, DMAG in P2, 7 seconds behind him. Berlanas in the Alpine in P3 and Enzo in P4. Keep in mind that a lot of people have boxed, so these will change up. The standings will shake up after everyone has changed their tires onto the other compound. So as Dinant, the Mercedes gets a 3-second time penalty, not ideal for him. His first penalty of the race, he was looking to maybe even get P2 if he didn't get any penalties and got within 3 seconds of the leaders. As Berlanas gets ahead of DMAG up into second place. Has DMAG pitted, if I'm not wrong? Yeah, DMAG has went into the pits to change his tires. Let's go on board with him coming out of the pit lane. Right behind the Ferrari, so he will be fighting with this Ferrari for P2, but he's on the better strategy and on the fresher tires, so this has worked out perfectly for DMAG in the DRS as well, as his teammate behind him in P6. Good result for McLaren's, but even better result for Ferraris at the moment. This Mercedes, who hasn't stopped yet. This is a fight on the track, but he is on the old tires, so he's holding them up a little bit, making the Ferrari's life harder, making DMAG's life happier. Let's hope DMAG can get past him easily. On into Maggots and Beckett's. Can he go for the move or will he stay back? As Berlanas gets a 10-second speeding penalty. He was the one that was in P3, if I'm not mistaken, before the pit stops, or P4. So, very bad mistake by him, which will ruin his race. Just maybe even ruin his chances of getting a top 5. As we see Lepo left the session, maybe lagged out, as now most of the top runners have pit except Enzo, and yeah. Just calm down a bit at the moment, but can D-Mac go for the move on the Ferrari and start gaining back time to Boost, who has stayed out for the longest of anyone starting on the mediums, except Enzo. But technically Boost has been out longer. So let's see, D-Mac, will he go down for a move into Magus and Beckett's? He seems to be very passive this race, not really going for moves. He doesn't know it, but the Ferrari ahead of him has slim to none ERS, so if he just gets a good exit, slams his foot pedal to the metal, uses ERS, he could easily overtake the Ferrari ahead in front, but he seems to be staying back a little bit. Barcelona with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So the Aston Martin and that last pitted changes tires. You will have to be hoping for a late safety car. Leston Boy struggling more than he expected, definitely. Then Young Victim up in, as there's a yellow flag. Williams, new JSS, has crashed or spun. As he spun again, struggling on these new tires. He just boxed with cold tires, that means for him. Leston Boy will prioritize on this and catch up to him. Not the best for him, so Barca Boy, P11, minding his own race. The last of the points runners at the moment, Carly in the V-Carb, sitting 9.1 seconds behind the Red Bull of Mayan, who is only 3/10 behind Enzo. Will he go for a move? Enzo is on the new softs, but can he out-track him? Can he go late on brakes? Yes, he does. Side by side, a bit of contact. What can he do? Can he get past him? Mercedes just about stays ahead of him. Now as we see Boost peeling into the pits, where will he come out? Boost coming out of the pits, he comes out clear of anyone with a country mile. I think he's clear of the P2 runners by 5 seconds, maybe even 6. New JSS out, as there's a Williams ahead of him that spun, we can see in the side. D-Mag will also see him. Yeah, we see the Williams there. Yeah, Mayan, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Struggling out there, but still in P9. As the Ferrari lagging a bit. Let's see what penalties everyone has. How will that affect the finishing results? So, Young Victim, if he squeezes in behind, only 3 seconds behind the Ferrari, he could get up into P3 and get a McLaren 2-3. That would be a great performance by them. As a bit of holding up by the Williams we see there. Don't know what that is about, but Boost seems to have this win so far. McLaren of D-Mac defending. Can the Ferrari go down the inside? Yes, he can. As he goes through D-Mac, a lot of lag coming from the Ferrari, as we can see teleporting around. D-Mac should probably be a bit careful from that Ferrari, as Enzo gets another 3-second time penalty due to track limit penalties. Ferrari 1-3, very good performance. Will be leading the Constructors' Championship after this. But, if I'm not mistaken, D-Mag will be leading the Drivers' Championship after this race with a P2 finish. Great stuff from him. No, he will be tied with the Ferrari of Meshu, who isn't racing today, on points with 43. Very tight here in VDRL as the Ferrari gets in front of DMAC to get a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. And a McLaren 3-4, so we can see which two teams are dominating at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Ferraris and the McLarens. Mercedes also doing decent in P6 and P7. Now, 1 second. Okay, I am back as DMAC has a second. He's out of the DRS at the moment, and he's back in the DRS. This gap is fluctuating a lot. Ferrari looks like as the I'm very confused at the moment. Ferrari lagging a lot, which means young victim technically is in P3. Almost in P3, since DMAG does have a 3-second time penalty, so DMAG not having the best races considering he started on pole position. Yeah. And DMAG, can he go for the move on the Ferrari? He stays back. I would stay back too. Ferrari is lagging a lot, teleporting all over the screen. Don't know what is happening there at the moment. So, yellow flag as the Kicksauber of Lessenboy has a moment. He lets pass DMAG. Yeah, just race seem to have calmed down. Let's see. Let's go on board with the Haas of Lepo. Seems to be the closest person to the next driver ahead of him. Scorching pace, man. Sadly he lost a second in the final sector. So let's go back on board with DMAG. He's losing time to the Ferrari in front of him and losing time to his teammate behind him. So not the best of situations for him, but anything can change, as we've seen from last race where DMAG was nowhere near winning, P2 by a country mile, but then a safety car and some technical difficulties for Meshu made it that he won the race. Amazing performance by him. So anything can change in the matter of seconds, so don't leave just yet, folks. Anything can happen. Don't underestimate. So just waiting for something to happen at the moment. We do know after the race we will have the interviews with some of the drivers who want to do them. Ask them their thoughts on the race, what the most challenging part of the race was for them. So that will be a fun part of this race. But first, we have to see how it finishes. Who wins, who grabs P2, who gets points on debut, or who gets a win on debut in Boost's perspective. So, yeah, everyone seems to be just in a drive of their own at the moment, not fighting, just driving, just chilling at the moment. Boost in a different world, let's be honest. 13 seconds. Where have you seen that dominant win by him so far? 8 laps left. Anything can change as New JSS gets a 3-second time penalty. As there's a yellow flag, a Williams. New JSS, after getting a 3-second time penalty, spins out. Does he have damage? No, he does not have damage. Good for him. But all the way down in P12 with an 18-second time penalty, it would be hard to come back from this unless a safety car is out right now. So, not the best of races for New JSS. We do know that he was having some technical difficulties before the race, so maybe that was the reason of him struggling this race so far. D-Mag gaining maybe a 10 for 2 on Flame this lap. They have very similar pace, just Flame gaining some in some of the sectors or some of the corners, D-Mag gaining in the other corners. So this gap fluctuating a lot, but seems to be staying at 1.4 tenths at the moment. D-Mag does have way more ERS than him. If he would know that, then he would probably catch him, but 1.2 seconds now the gap. D-Mag gaining a lot. Can he get into the DRS for the next lap? A good exit he needs from here. Maybe use some ERS. As Boost in P1, D-Mag's teammate Young Victim in P4, and the Aston Martin in dead last are the only people who have no penalties whatsoever. Of course, there could be post-race penalties if anyone decides to report someone, as a lot of people seem to be getting track limit penalties at the moment. They could also get removed if people send it and they got the track limit for people pushing them off, or just an unfair one. So, you know, definitely not the final result. Even D-Max maybe could get removed if he shows proof of it being unfair track limit. It's the warning. So, all to play for still here. Boost 15 seconds in the lead. Not much to say about that. But Young Victim closing the gap to D-Mag in P3. Young Victim looks like he could get a P2 here. That would be an amazing result by him, considering this is his first race. It was a bit wide, but D-Mag almost in DRS of Flame. Seems to be gaining a lot these past few laps. And if you want to join the league, the link will probably be in... Just go to our Instagram, VD Racing League, with the same logo that this YouTube channel is on, and you can join. There's a link in the bio. So D-Mag just losing a bit of time here, about 5 tenths in the first sector. Not the best from him. Very calm at the moment. Maybe a calm before the storm, and then a safety car and everyone is gonna be crazy, but we don't know yet. Young Victim seems to be gaining a lot of time to D-Mag, and D-Mag seems to be losing time to Flame. So D-Mag not having a good race at the moment. The yellow flag for Leston Boy, as he has very big wing damage, and he goes off onto the grass. Don't know what's happening there. Not the best race for him at the moment. Boost just chilling in his own world. Let's see who does have the fastest lap, and it is Boost. So the points format in VDRL is the same as real life, except there's a point for fastest lap, which boost as of so far will get. Oh, of course, you have to be in the top 10 to get the fastest lap. So if you're in the top 11 and you have the fastest lap, you're not gonna get the point. A person who is in the top 10 and has the fastest lap out of the people in the top 10 will get the point. So, and also DMAG will get an extra point for taking pole position. So he would come out of this if he were to finish in P3, 2 points behind the championship leader so far, Meshu, who's not attending this race. Let's see the gaps, as Young Victim only 1.6 seconds now off of DMAG, and DMAG only 1.5 seconds off of Flame. What can the two McLarens do? Will DMAG potentially let Young Victim go past him and try to catch the Flame in Ferrari? No, let's see what they are up to. This Flame Ferrari person. Oh, big slide from the Ferrari. But he seems to be struggling a lot on his ERS. He has 5% and he's been on like 10% the whole race. I don't know what that is about. DMAG has been on 100% the whole race. That's also not the best. You should be utilizing it. But Flame seems to be utilizing it too much. DMAG in the DRS. Now, can he get it when it's on the first sector? He just needs to keep this clean, get on the throttle early, use some ERS maybe, and get in the DRS, but just can't get it at the moment. If I would be able to talk to both of these drivers now, I would tell Flame to use less ERS and DMAG to use more ERS. But Young Victim looks like he's using just enough on 40%. That's not bad, and it's not perfect, but he's using it, he's utilizing it, and it's helping him catch DMAG, who is, I mean, he's on 100%, so he can defend good on the last lap. But let's see, only 3 laps left, including this one. Can anyone get within striking distance? Young Victim, he doesn't really need to catch DMAG. All he needs to do is stay in this gap, and he will have that P2 guaranteed unless someone gets a penalty or he gets the drivers ahead gets a penalty removed. Very unlikely though, as Dinan gets another 3-second time penalty, his second one of this race. Race just calmed down at the moment. Berlana's in P5 with a 19-second penalty. Not the best for him, as we see a Williams go off after Cops. New JSS crashed and he just retired from this session. That will probably be a penalty for him, since you can't retire on track, you have to retire in the pit lane. But that will be up to the stewards to decide. Gap's just staying consistent at the moment. Of course, Young Victim doesn't need the gap, and DMAG also doesn't need the gap, except he needs the gap to Young Victim if he wants to get the P2. But at the moment, DMAG would be in P3, Young Victim would be in P2, and the Ferrari would be in P4. So that would be a very good result for both the Ferraris and the McLarens. 2-3 for the McLarens and 1-4 for the Ferraris. Good for McLaren in the championship, since they do have only 25 points compared to Ferrari's 49, Red Bull's 54, and Racing Bull's 30. So they do have some ground to make up. DMAG also has some ground to make up. So if he would finish P3 like he is, with his pole position time, which would be in total 16 points, that would put him up to 41 points, so 2 points behind Meshu. Yeah. Just really calm as we go on to the final lap of the race. Can DMAG make anything happen? Doesn't look like it. Can Young Victim make anything happen? Maybe, if he gets into the arrest on the final sector. As Boost by 20 seconds in the lead. What a commanding victory this will be from him. Doesn't look like any of the other positions except the penalties can change, which Enzo gets another 3-second time penalty. So let's go on board with the race leader with a commanding drive in his rookie race, his first race of the season, going down into the final sector. Low on fuel, but it won't matter for him. 20 seconds in the lead. Onto the final corners of the track. Onto the penultimate corner. Onto the penultimate straight. My bad. The final corner. And Boost wins by 20 seconds. What a commanding victory by him. And will definitely be a race winner again in the future, I think. Now, let's see where everyone else will finish. Going on to the final corner, his teammate finishing in P2 on track, but it will be demoted to P4 due to track limit penalties. So, now let's read out the results so far. Boost in P1 by 23 seconds to Young Victim in P2. DMAG in P3 from pole position. Not the best, but still a podium that he will take, and he will be high up. P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Flame, the Ferrari, P4. Dinant, the Mercedes, P5. Berlanas in P6. Enzo in P7. Mayan in P8. Curly in P9. Lepo in P10, the final point scorer. Leston Boy in P11, and the Aston Martin in P12. And everybody below that has DNF'd, not finished the race. Well, that's it for the race. Let's see the results really quick on a chart, and then let's go interview some of the drivers of this race. As we see him on the podium with his steering wheel. From Belgium, the race winner. Actually from Germany. Sorry. So, we can see here, very good gap. Let's just go through this if anyone wants to report any penalties after. Okay. So, now we're gonna go on to the interviews. Let's join the voice chat. Let's wait for everyone to join.
Oh my god, I'm done.
Wait, mute yourself, please. I will tell you guys when you can talk. So, we have the top 3 in the race in the commentary box for the interviews. Boost, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
I mean, what a commanding victory from you, winning by 23 seconds after penalties. How was the race from your perspective?
Um, the start was okay, I guess. Then the little fight with my teammate and DMAC was alright, and like from the lap 17, I had to lift and coast. So that was the most stressful thing in that race.
Lifting and coasting. I mean, was there any close calls or any moment where you
Uh,
thought you were gonna be struggling?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean, as we see the calendar, which is what race are you looking forward to? Since you are the winner, Australia next up, then Portugal, Bahrain, Austria, Saudi. Are there any races that are your favorites there that you could dominate again?
I don't think so that I could dominate. I don't know how Meshu is driving, but I'm looking forward to Australia, and Saudi Arabia could be interesting.
Australia definitely is a good track. And thank you for your time. Congrats on the win. And let's head on to the P2 finisher.
Thank you.
Now, young victim in the McLaren or Sir Oscar Piastri, Tier 2 reserve, your first race, P2. How do you feel?
I don't even know. That was stressful though.
How the tire wear? Was there any moments that you thought uh, your tire was gonna be not the best?
The end of the soft stint was difficult.
Yeah, we saw your teammate D-Max struggling on the tires a lot in the end of the stint, losing a lot of time to boost, about 7 seconds when he pitted. So, how was your race? How was it quiet? You look like you have a George Russell kind of result, just sneaked up on your way onto the podium, not getting any penalties, just taking advantage of others' unfortunate results.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, the first five laps were stressful. I stuck behind someone, but
Yeah. Well, thank you for your
I don't.
time. Congrats on P2 on your debut race, and let's head on to DMAG. DMAG, can you hear me?
Yep, hello.
Ah, very interesting race from you. Starting on pole, I mean, lost the lead into the first sector. That must have felt very bad. What was the race from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean the pole position. It was very lucky, because as Boost said, he was losing. He lost time because he got impeded or something like that along that lines, and so I think I got lucky with the pole position. But other than that, I'm happy with it. Yeah, losing the lead into sector one wasn't really the best, but I knew that Boost would definitely have a better pace in the dry. So yeah, I'll take a podium like P3. It's good. It's good for the team as well that we had. Sir Oscar there to help and get some points in the constructors. So
Yeah, amazing result. You're gonna be P2 in the Drivers' Championship if my calculations are correct by 2 points. So good result. Also really great for McLaren, P2 and P3. And congrats on the podium. And we'll see you next race.
yeah, thank you.
Now, do we have Flame in the Ferrari in here or no? I don't think we have him. So do we have the Mercedes of Dinand in here? No? Okay, so moving on to Berlanas, who finished P6. Starting P3, not the best result, but how do you feel after that? And can you hear me?
Yeah, of course. No, I am angry because I was P4, I think, and the Mercedes do a wrong movement and kick me out of the race, and I do a good
So,
I no, I am Spanish. I'm thinking for the world like I re- I do I don't know. One moment. Is a good comeback, and yeah, P6. But I think if you see the move of the Mercedes, you can maybe put a 5 second penalty, and I'm going to be P5.
Okay, we'll have to see about that. You can report it in the incidents channel.
Yes, I am as you, and
Okay,
I am doing in the video, and yeah.
yeah.
But no, but good race. I have a fault in the pit lane. The pit lane limiter. I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't use it. And yes, but for the rest, no bad pace. I think I can fight for victories in the future. And now Australia, I'm good on Australia, and I'm happy for the first race.
Yeah, well, congrats on the P6. Good confidence, really important to have that in this sport, and hope to see you back at the top in Australia.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Curly, who finished P8 in the Visa Cash App RB. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So how was the race from your perspective? I mean, you started P14, so 6 positions gained. Definitely a good race from you. How did you feel the tires were? A lot of people struggled on them.
Yeah, on the first stint of the softs, the left side was absolutely dead, so no grip whatsoever, and everyone pitted earlier before me, so it wasn't like sure about the strategy, but I'm angry at myself also because stupid penalties. I was looking forward. Quality was terrible. I can assure you I'm not a weather specialist, but happy to get some points on the board, and it's sad to not see Vasa on the track, my teammate. But it is what it is. On to Australia.
Yeah, I mean, good comeback from you. Sadly, a lot of people this race struggled on the track limit penalties, but hope to see you and your teammate back at Australia, and hope you do better. And thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Now we move on to Wave. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
I don't know exactly where you finished.
I was P4 Ferrari. I was
Oh,
just fixing my mic when you said my
oh,
name.
yes, my
Yeah.
bad. Okay, so P4, you were. I was watching you a lot of the race, and you had really low ERS. What was that about?
Basically, I struggled a lot on this track. I think about ERS. It's usually my weakness about like how I manage my ERS, and I was also trying to get in front, like break the DRS gap, but that did turn out to be a problem in the final laps.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching DMAC behind you. He had full battery ERS, but he wasn't using it, so that's really fortunate for you. And but in the end, just
Yeah,
the track limit penalties messed you up. A lot of people struggled on that, and yeah, just P4, good for
I'm happy with that.
Ferrari.
Yeah,
Yeah, and good,
it's a good result.
yeah, good debut, and congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty happy with that result. I know it can be better, but next race I know I'll probably be near the top. Maybe aim for P1.
Well, love the confidence. A lot of people seem to be having confidence in Australia. Well, we'll see you there. Thanks for the interview.
Let's see you.
Now, Barca Boyd, the last of the interviewers in P14 with a DNF. Tell us what happened through the race and why did you DNF?
Well, it sort of started in quali. I was going wet as my specialty, so I was very happy with the wet qualifying. On my final lap, I was 4 seconds up with a 1:42, and then I got impeded and lost my time. So I started near the back. It was just chaos near the back, and I had a big collision. So I was near the back of the pack, and I got pit limiter penalty, so there was really no hope for me. So I just decided to DNF.
Can you take us can you take us through what happened in the collision? We didn't see it that well on the stream, but maybe you know what happened?
Well, I was going around the last corner with the Williams, Mr. Swanee, and I was beside him,
Yeah.
and he pushed me onto the big sausage curb, and I car launched up and hit into him, and we both spun out into the gravel.
Yeah, that's an definitely unfortunate incident. But
Yeah.
what can you do? Are you looking forward to any of the tracks in the calendar? If you want me, Australia, Portugal, Bahrain, Austria, and Saudi Arabia.
Well, Austria and Australia, I'm really looking forward to them because they're some of my best tracks. So I think I'll do good there.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be looking forward to Australia, so looks like we're gonna have a competitive grid there. And sad for your DNF, but hopefully you come back next race
Yeah,
stronger. And thanks for the interview and good luck.
yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. And we are going to end VDRL round 3 tier 2 there. Next week same time we're back at it, and thank you for watching.